Tenors, tenor power, tenors in the house. Can you all hear me, everybody? I just want to make sure. We were having some technical difficulties before. Give me a thumbs up or a yes if you can hear me, tenors. Tenors out there. Hello. Yes, fantastic. Good. Welcome, gang. Welcome to the tenor sectional. Yeah. My wife is listening off screen here to make sure that the sound is working, and it is, in fact. Tenors, I'm so excited to be working with you this morning. We've got 30 minutes, and what we can do is we'll go through the entire score bit by bit. We'll talk about the breaths. We'll sing a little bit. And also, I'll get into a little bit of the reasons that I composed it. As a general overview, I just love the tenor voice. I love the color of the tenor voice. I love where it sits in terms of 4-part writing, the possibilities with it. And for this piece, I tried to give you tenors a really interesting and fun line where you get to play different parts. Kind of here now you're down here with the basses. Here you're up with the altos. Here you're your own melody. I tried to make it as interesting as possible. But let's make some music, shall we? With the sopranos and the altos, we've been beginning with a warm up. I think there's really nothing more important than warming up, even just for 5 minutes, can get that voice going. So hopefully you're in a relatively quiet place, or you've got a forgiving family that you're quarantined with. But to do this warm up, I've been asking my extraordinary wife, Laurence Servaz, who is professional soprano, to just lead us through a warm up. So will you please welcome to the podcast, no, to the broadcast, my wife, Laurence Servaz. This is Laurence, everyone.
Hey, so the warm up for the tenors today, we always start with saying how important the warm up is. If you go to a concert of just orchestras playing, they're always warming up right before you go in, right? So they're warming up the fingers, the body, the mindset. And for us as singers, the instrument is the body. So you got to take care of the body. Also, if your work is behind a computer and you slouch a little bit, you wanna stretch. You have to take care of the body, because the body does everything for us. And if we're healthy, we're the luckiest people. So we're the luckiest people
today.
So we always start with doing little stretches for the back, for the shoulders, and also like rolling the neck, just to get a little stretch in there. These are all things you can always do before you start singing, before you start even doing your warm-up. And for the yogis out there, perfect. Also, I see all the languages going. So bonjour. And also goedenavond aan Nederland.
Yeah.
Guten Abend.
Yeah.
Do you have any other?
Shalom. Yeah.
You got them. Anyway, yeah. So for the tenors, we'll slowly warm up. I looked at the score for the tenors, and Ari did such a great job. This is like butter for you guys. This is pure butter to sing. So we'll do a few lip drills. Easy range. We'll repeat that. Perfect. So feeling a little warm already. Ja. So it's the Dutch word ja, which means oui, yes, si.
Baby, also nice register. Your low register.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to tell a joke, but I can't tell
Don't
jokes
do
right
it.
now. Anyway. So start with the E vowel that brings the sound forward, and then open up so you don't have too much tension here. Also try to not drop, right? So the basses easily lean into those low notes. As tenors, we gotta stay light, right? So try not to drop the lower notes. Stay light. Ya, ya, ya. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah. Isn't this fun? Yeah, 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 perfect. This is even higher than you gotta sing in the piece.
Yeah.
Just you. You also get into that vowel and just relax. Repeat.
So I don't know if you can tell by my speaking voice, but I'm really a bass, and every year I'm more a bass. So even an E like that for the tenors is like, wow, we're in the stratosphere.
We'll do one more just to stretch a little bit. So we'll start on an E vowel, which brings it forward again, and don't drop there. And then we'll go to an U vowel. So whatever you need to get there, is it E, O, E, O, E. Just drop the jaw on the higher notes.
So we're starting right here.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to do it an octave higher.
This I can sing.
So, E.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh. And I can see how difficult it is.
This is why I'm a composer, not a singer. And one more, maybe. Ready?
Just relax in the high notes. Yeah.
Thank you, baby. Amazing.
You're the. Oh, you let me.
Oh, sorry.
You're the best tenor.
Oh, no, God. Thank you, Laurence. Yeah, I can't tell you what a joy it is to live with a singer like this. It's such a beautiful voice. I always think for myself that I'm really a tragic figure because I have the soul and the heart of a singer. I sing all the time. I sing when I first wake up in the morning, in the shower, when I'm walking around. I just don't have the voice. I think actually it's why I became a composer is because I'm not a singer and I long to sing. But that being said, I think that in a way, me not being the best singer has helped me as a composer for voices because generally I try to write the voices as ergonomically as possible, something that I might actually be able to sing most of the time. And what I mean by that is nice voice leading, a sense of breath and a sense of space, something that a really amateur singer like myself could do. As we go through this, last thing before we jump in, I think we probably have a fair number of lady tenors with us, and welcome, lady tenors. We'd love to have you here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, lady tenors, as you're doing this, I don't think there will be too much stuff down low in the register. But if you find yourself coming down to like those E's and stuff, and if that's just a little too low, then just ghost the note. You just kind of touch it, or don't worry about it at all. Somebody in the thousands of singers is going to be taking care of that note. If you're a male tenor and you're struggling with, so say those E's the way that I am, you may want to consider that you might be a bass, or at least in this case, you might be a bass. The bass part in this piece is really conservatively ranged. It only goes down to a G. So of course, join us here for the tenor sectional. See how it feels. But you may want to jump over to the bass part if it's feeling a little rangy for you. Okay, so gang, let's start here at the beginning. And by the beginning, I mean before the tenors even sing, because this is super important. You know, we get this very gentle, this melody between the sopranos and the altos. And if you're anything like me, a lot of times when I'm the bass, you know, and the sopranos or altos start like this, then I'm just waiting, like, okay, when do I get to sing? When's my turn? And boom, here's the note. The thing is, as a composer, I never think like that. I never think, okay, the sopranos and altos are, they're doing their thing, and the basses and tenors, they can just wait. For me, there's even the way it's all set up is designed to introduce, almost like a character in a movie. How can I give the best possible introduction to the voices as they come in each part? So in this case, what we get is this, right? It's this very plaintive melody. And what it's setting up first, this is super important for us tenors, is setting up this governing principle that I've written into this piece. And the idea is that everywhere we lean in on beat one and we pull back on beat two. So for instance, even the way they sing, push, then push, pull, push, pull. And this is going to, this will serve us everywhere. So even when we first sing, may our singing push, pull. So each one of those things. So as we go through that, you're going to feel that on the downbeat and come away on beat two. Then the one other thing that I want you to think about is on your first entrance, all we've got is mezzo piano. It's very simple, right? But really, if you think about what we're going to do is for the audience, we start, they hear this. In my mind, this is just a few solo instruments. Let's say a clarinet duet or an oboe and an English horn. And we hear them in the orchestra playing this, right? Then tenors, your entrance isn't just mezzo piano, but really what you are is you're the string section. Suddenly, we're going to warm this up. So in that first entrance in measure 13, as you sing it, think a little cinematically that your part is actually incredibly important, because what we're doing now is taking the piece to this next level. Now let's just talk through the nuts and bolts of this. We start with may our singing be music, right? And then what you want to do is take that little breath the way that Ben Hymas does in his beautiful guide track. You're going to take a little lift after the zick of music. So music and may it. So you'll take a little breath there. On music, just a little C on the music. Don't forget that we'll have thousands of people using all of these consonants. And so we only need just a touch of it. Everybody's gonna be able to hear it just fine. Then when we get into this little line down here, if you find that you need a little breath here somewhere, then just sneak out and sneak back in. And the only thing I would say is just try to not repeat the consonant if you do. So for instance, if you do, may it keep others, don't even put the P on that, or just the tiniest little P, so that we don't get pop, 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 all that kind of stuff, okay? Then again, you're gonna see, even at the last bit on this page in 3, 17, 18, 19, 20, where we sing, others, then we're gonna go, push, pull, right? There's our motive again. So let's sing through this from measure 13. You ready? 2, 3, sing. 2, 3, push, pull, 3. Beautiful. And then if you can have the sweetest, elegant FT on loft, just let it evaporate into the air. Let's sing all of that one more time, shall we? Thinking cinematically. 2, 3, go. May our and may it Beautiful. Good, good, good. Okay. So now we get to measure 21. And for me, here at 21 and at also 45, this is what I think of as the hook. In pop music, the hook is it's the most memorable part of the song, right? It's the song usually that has the title. For some reason, yesterday it popped into my head. Since You've Been Gone, do you know the Kelly Clarkson song? I don't know why, but I think it's probably because it's the most perfectly constructed pop song. But when she kicks in, Since You've Been Gone, that moment that's the hook. And for me, this when we sing, it's the title of the song, but more importantly, it's the message that we want to convey. It's the whole reason that we're building all of this up is to this very simple moment. And tenors, you'll notice here, I've given you what if I were singing in a choir, I would jump up and sing tenor on this because I think it's just way more fun. So the sopranos and altos in 21 sing, 2, 3, sing. Then we get gently, and then always. So you've got your own entrance both times where you come in on beat 3 alone. And you'll see in the piano also it's doubled, right? So the piano is playing. So they play that note with you. And I love that kind of beat 3 thing that we can do. And even though it's marked pianissimo, what I want you to do is lean into it a little bit so that we go 1, 2, always. So that we still get our push-pull on beats 1 and 2. See how that works? Just a little bit of crescendo into beat 1 and then back. Let's try that. So we go, this is sopranos and altos. 1, 2, always. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, crescendo, 2, 3, go. So here's one thing. Tenors, if you need to, you can absolutely take a breath after sing as one. Take a nice breath there because what you want is a nice full tank of air to take you through 27 and 28. And it's not just a crescendo. When I'm writing music for voices, I never think of it as we need to get louder or we need to gain mass. Always for me, it's about how do we motivate the next breath. For me, the breath is everything when we're singing. And what I mean by that is what we need is in 29, when you come in, this is quite, we were talking about cinematic before. Now this is like all the violas playing, right? And the horns are doubling. It's this big, lush sound, tenors. And the only way that we're going to get that big, lush sound is a beautiful, full breath on beat 1. So what you do is that crescendo that starts in 27, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. May we stand. That crescendo is leading to that leap of a breath that then takes us off, right? So let's go from May We Stand. Should we just sing it through once? And go. Little breath. Push, pull. Excellent. Okay, so a couple of things here. In 33, right, we'll go, may our voice be strong, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then breathe there, please. Yep. Then on, may we hear the singing, and let's take a breath between singing, and may. This also is quite a long phrase. So if you need to take a breath in and may we always sing along somewhere in there, do the same trick as before, which is just take a little catch breath and try not to use any of the diction for always sing along. So you have to just leave the S off of there. Beautiful. Okay, can we sing all of that one more time? Let's sing from May We Stand Together. This is measure 29. Everybody ready? 2, 3, sing. Yeah, and a breath there. 1, 2, 3, crescendo, 2, breath. 2, 3, 1, 2, and may we. Two, three, push, pull, off. Excellent tenors. Obviously, I can't hear any of you, but I have to say I can feel the energy. Tenors, you got a good energy this morning. I think if you're like me, you've already had 2 massive cups of coffee. Actually, if you're in Europe, you probably had 8 cups of coffee by now. It's the nighttime, so I feel that caffeinated energy. All right, so now tenors. Remember how we were talking about how you kind of get all the special stuff here? For me, what's happening? The basses and sopranos and altos, they're doing this, right? I think they're kind of the white rice, if you will, and we're the curry. So what I mean by that is, they sing, and we got each time. I love that. Right? So tenors, it's actually the most important part of this. Don't tell the altos and sopranos that I said this. but tenors, I actually think this is the most important part. Your line here for the next 4 bars. So what you want to do is just gently touch that idea of sing. You ready? So here we go on 45 and go. 1, sing gently. Good, you got that? All right, so a couple of things here. First, if you need to, we can do a little bit of a lift or a breath after gently. So gently. And what you'll want to do is lean again across the bar line on that C, so that we get push, pull, pull. And then I want you to think about one other thing, which is that on each of those sings, remember how we've got push, pull for the whole piece, right? In measure 45 and 46, you're only the pull, right? So everybody else is doing this. They're the pushes. But for us, we're pull, right? So those can be even gentler than what the basses and altos and sopranos are singing. Then the last thing is, remember tenors, I was saying that I always try to give you super interesting and fun lines. I love this here, where we go gently, and then you sing, and sopranos. See how that works, right? So you hold across, then they are here, and they come down. Oh, that's nice. It's not that I'm happy with myself as a composer. It's just, I think if I were a tenor, I'd be like, yes, this is my favorite part. Okay, so let's go on tenors, shall we? So starting 45, 46, 47, 48, here we go, 49. And 1. Now we as 1, 2, 3 as 1. Good. So one thing that I just want to point out here, when I finally publish this music, I'll add this in, which is going to be just a little diminuendo at the end of 50 tenors. So do you see what's happening above you? Look in 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, in measure 50. So look at the sopranos. They go, you see that? And then on beat 2, the altos go. So what we've got, if you look at all of those parts, we get, or, and then tenors, right? So actually you're the continuation of, and what I want you to think is this diminuendo. So it's, in my mind, it's a Karate Kid move. like we're going 1, 2, 3. If you can see my foot, it's coming up like this, right? The Karate Kid, 1, 2, boom, like that. So that the line fades away, this soprano, alto, tenor line. So then from there, it's pretty straightforward. Let's sing, shall we, from 45 now all the way to the end. Let's see what happens. Everybody ready? All right, so we go, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pull, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. As 1, 2, as 1, 2, 3, 1. Good. So a bunch of things that I want to point out here. So starting in 52. So in 52, we can go as 1 breath. 1, 2, 3, 1. Then take a breath every time there's a comma. So after every one of those new ones. So you've got a nice full tank of air for each of those soaring lines, especially for. And I want you to think of something, tenors, when you do that line. So this is in 58. You're doing, right? It's just a sweet little melody. But above you are the altos on this note, right? And so you're going to sing. So you can really push, lean into that beat 1 on that dissonance with the altos. Really feel the rub against that note that they've got. Then at the bottom there in measure 63, you can take a little breath here. Gently as one. You hear the Z in there? As one. So a little bit of the Z there, the Z. When you close to the end in 1, I can't remember exactly how Ben does it, but it's actually not important that we all do this exactly the same. If anything, I want it randomized so it's just this gentle, diffuse close. But what I want you to think is that it closes slowly to an N around about beat 1 of the last bar. So it'd be something like, gently as one. See how that is? It doesn't have to exactly line up with all the other tenors. It just has to be a gentle close. And then the last thing that I want to show you is, so we start the piece. How are we doing on time? Yeah, I've got another minute here, tenors. So we start the piece. It starts in unison this way, right? And then finally, at the end of the piece, when we come together, finally, we're back in unison. All of us are singing that same note on 1, and only the piano is, they've got that third. Tenors, I hope this helped. I saw a bunch of you with questions that I didn't get to. I'll figure out a way to get all of this to you. I've got to jump over to the bass sectional right now. But fantastic work. If you have questions or if you have any feedback at all, please post it on any of my social media pages or here, and we'll make sure that you've got it. Beautiful, beautiful work, tenors. And also, tenors, you'll be very used to this. Tell your friends, will you? If you look at the numbers, it's as it always is. There's a bazillion sopranos, a few fewer altos, basses are doing fine, and there's always fewer tenors. It's not because tenors are less passionate about this. It's, as you know, tenors are just the rarest gem of all the voice types. So tell your tenor friends, get them to come do this. Yeah. Thank you all so much. And maybe we'll do another one of these. Yeah. Another tenor sectional. Take care, everybody. Beautiful work.